Hey, 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 hey. Hey everybody, what's going on? What's going on? Welcome to the Tisa Batey Show. Let's just talk about it. We're coming to you live tonight from one of my favorite spots, Carrabba's, here in Morrow, Georgia. Love, 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 love Carrabba's. Customer service is outstanding here. So if you haven't visited, go see them. So we're coming to you live on the Tisa Batey Show tonight on djgradybaby.com, and got a real powerful topic for you tonight. Some real serious stuff. So we're going to ask that you guys go ahead, those of you who were tuned in, go ahead and start sharing. We are going to be talking about why sex stops after marriage. And is this the reason why men hesitate when it comes to ultimately marrying? This is huge. Like, this is huge, guys. This is really huge. Yeah.
Can we keep it real today? We're going to keep it real.
Yeah.
We gave y'all a break last
We definitely want to keep it real. And we're going to tell you who's here. It was what now?
It wasn't edgy enough last week.
It wasn't edgy enough last week? Oh, is that right? Yeah. But it was very good. I mean, the people got what they needed. So listen, so tonight, of course, you know, I'm coming to you, yours truly, Tisa Batey. Also got, you know, the crazy, infamous DJ Grady Baby, who is still there trying to, I don't even know what he's doing at this point.
People.
He's tagging people. But we also have, back with us by popular demand, the guest from last week, my soror, my line sister, Tammy Smith, who will be able to talk to this subject. And also we have the man that everybody used to love to hate, Mr. Gerald Forte. Say hey, Gerald.
How you doing? How's everybody feeling?
So,
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
2020 vision.
So we're going to dive right in and talk about, you know, why sex stops after marriage. What do we think? Why does that happen? And is this the reason why so many men, I guess, choose to wait? Yeah, everybody turn your volumes down. Is this why so many men choose to opt out of marriage or wait so long before marriage? Because they're afraid that the sex is going to stop. So I'm going to ask you once again, go ahead and share with everybody. This is going to be power-packed, ladies. It's going to answer some questions that you've all wanted to know that have been afraid to ask. And before we get started, certainly, even though I'm a day early, I want to say Happy Founders Day to all my illustrious sorors of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. Ski Week. Tomorrow's our Founders Day. And
so 12 years strong,
yes. So we want to say Happy Founders Day, Happy early Founders Day to all our sorors, aka. So let's just. Are we ready to just dive into this and start talking about it?
Ready.
Okay. And of course, you can see all these beautiful people. Okay, so let's talk about it. Why does sex stop? Why does sex stop after marriage?
Because a woman's hormones.
You say.
Because a woman's hormones is out of whack.
So Gerald says that women's hormones are out of whack.
Okay. So
speak up. Yeah. Let's make sure they can hear us.
Okay, well, understand something, okay? And I'm a man, so this is me second guessing, but it just makes sense to me. You guys met. You like each other, everybody was beautiful, you're having sex like bunny rabbits.
Like bunny rabbits.
Mm-hmm. Jumping up and down on each other on a very regular basis, daytime, nighttime, every time. Spend time, live together, get married, nothing changes. Have the baby. Baby's inside messing with ovarian tubes and uteruses and all this stuff, tugging and so on and so forth. Baby comes out, leaves the space. All the stuff they used to touch, they don't touch no more. So there's some disconnections because the baby was there, and then now She don't want to have sex anymore. That's my rendition.
So all of the stuff that used to touch before baby came no longer touches anymore.
Yeah, they need to reconnect.
And that's why women hormonal balances are off. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
Sexual hormonal balances. I don't know
Sexual
about the other one. I'm
hormonal
not a doctor. That
balances
just makes
are
sense.
off. Because the stuff that used to touch before the baby does no longer touches. What you got to add to that?
Well, somewhat similar to what he said, but not all of it. When you're dating, you have date nights and everything. Prior to marriage, you have your date nights. That's when you know there's no kids involved, or you get the babysitter, you guys go out. So the time you guys get married, now you have the family, especially if you're married into a ready-made family. So if you have a ready-made family, now you got to make time to have that date night or that intimate session. You know, a lot of times, you know, jobs.
You can go ahead, boo. Come on.
The jobs and stuff that you have, you know, you're tired now. Because normally we playing out and stuff on the weekend when you're dating, but when you're married, you know, you with them every day and everything. She's tired and he's tired, whatever like that. And that child comes, that postpartum set in, it's a wrap. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to sleep. Because now, when a woman has a baby, it's all about the child. It's no longer about the husband anymore. So he's just there stuck.
Wow.
So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you say, Soror?
I fail to differ with it. Because to me, who says it stops after you get married? Mine didn't.
Yes, we hit this. That's
No.
you.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I'm saying, why does it have to stop? Because it doesn't stop.
It doesn't
I
stop.
agree with you.
But you coming up with all these different excuses, postpartum, and women do go through that. But that means if you know that, if you feel that, especially if this is not your first child, you have more than one child, so you have learned in the beginning if it was like that with that person. So who says that? I'm saying, so your reasoning saying that stop because you blamed it on the female. You
Yes.
saying that it's her and it's not.
I said it.
But I'm saying,
So
why
you're-
would you say that?
Okay.
Because that's not true.
Because now okay, so again, we doing generals. And in general,
Thank you.
when we're dating, if you talk to 100 men or 100 women, the sex was more abundant before marriage than it is after. Do you think that the man is stopping?
Let me add my tidbit because
Yes, sir, we
I
did.
intentionally allowed everyone to speak prior to me so that I could put my 2.5 cents in after. Okay, so
So we did.
here's the deal. First of all, there are a plethora of different reasons why sex stops or subsides, dissipates somewhat after the marriage. It really has very little to do, and men, I think men think this. I think men think that once a woman has the ring on her finger and the papers in her hand and says, I do, and it is now legal, I think a man tends to think that a woman says, I got him now, so I don't have to perform.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where you're wrong. And I'm going to quantify that statement for you. If you have a woman who is shallow enough or selfish enough to cut sex off as soon as the marriage, you should have been man enough or had the wherewithal to see those signs prior to the marriage. You don't. Whoa. A selfish person cannot suppress that selfishness indefinitely. They cannot. But hold on. Let me finish what I'm saying. In my opinion, for the most part, sex stops after marriage when, and I do agree with you guys on this point, when kids are factored in. When a mother has a child, okay, first of all, I will say that emotionally, there is such an emotional tie with that child. The bond that she had with that husband, unfortunately, and it shouldn't be this way, but it is.
Damn right.
But the bond that she had with that husband, it sort of takes second place to that bond that she feels with her child. And the reason why is because that child is dependent on her for everything. It can do nothing without her. The husband, you are independent of us. You can come and go as you please. That child needs us for everything. So when you factor in, when you consider the fact that the mother has that bond now with that child, when you factor in she is the primary caregiver, regardless of what you all say. And so she's the one, 9 times out of 10, who is making sure that that child has everything from breastfeeding to, bathing to burping to getting up in the middle. Usually it's a lot of times it's the mother. Not saying that fathers don't do it, because I know there's some who do. And then you factor in the fact that she's working full time and doing housework. She's tired. Okay? She is emotionally and mentally drained. And when that happens, yes, the sex does take a back seat. Not saying it's right, I'm just saying from a woman's perspective, that's what happens. So if y'all want more sex, make it easier on us after childbirth. How about that? Boom.
Yeah, okay.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay. I really have to say this, because I'm going to fall on the floor. I'm going to agree with you on one thing, with the father should make it easy. Just one thing. The father should make it easy. Make sure you get plenty of bottles. And also, women, make it easy on the father. Y'all get that breast milk, put that milk in that bottle, and we'll go warm it up. Get the breast pump, keep it pumped by the bed. Yeah,
but we still got to pump it.
Yeah, you still got to pump it now, but we'll feed the baby now. We'll get up and feed the baby. We'll change the baby. But ladies, one rule, don't do this, because I went through this with my marriage. Don't put the baby in the bed with you, because once you get that baby in the bed with you, it's hard to get out. If the baby in the bed, I got to find another bed to get in. You know what I mean? I'm just saying.
But see, you took it to having kids. What about, you just said the topic is, does sex stop after marriage?
No,
you haven't factored in the kids yet.
Okay, it doesn't really stop. It just comes to a screeching halt.
That's what she was doing.
No, it said after kids. It says, why does sex stop after marriage?
Okay, so you're right. That is the topic, but that's just, the kids are one factor. The kids are just one element. They're not every reason. It's just one element. I've also said that you have some women who are selfish enough to say, I just want the ring, I just want the I do, and then they're gonna stop. I mean, but what is the benefit of this? What is the benefit to them? I don't necessarily know that that's accurate, because it leads me to wonder, what is the benefit to the woman for doing that? I mean,
Sex don't feel good to you no more?
Absolutely it does. So why would a woman stop? Why would she get the ring and just say, I don't want it anymore?
Because it's about control.
The man is not stopping it.
Okay, but what I'm saying is, if it's other factors other than children, okay? It can't be just children. It can't be that the children are the only reason why sex stops. So what are the other reasons why sex stops?
I just said it's about control. Women will use sex.
It's about control?
Yes, to get what they want a certain kind of way, or to punish a man, or if he do something, if the man do something.
But don't they do that before marriage?
Yes.
Not as heavy.
You probably have got it before, because
not if she wants to get with him. If she really wants him, she'll play along to get him. It's called entrapment.
So has she said to you, just previously, people have said that I'm not gonna give you none because
yes, I have heard that. Yes.
Well, to me that's not to me that shouldn't be told. I mean, people do, and I know people do that. They say that I'm not gonna give you no sex because of that. Men do it too.
Okay, yeah, and let's talk about that. Okay,
What do men do?
so let's talk about
Man
that.
said I'm gonna give you none.
Right.
And they turn nothing
Let's
down.
talk
What
about
man?
this, because
Your man said this to you?
you all are
No,
absolutely.
I'm just saying it has not happened to me.
You are absolutely wrong,
So much
and
devil's advocates going
I'm
on
going to
right
give
now.
you all an example of how and why you're wrong. Everybody wants to blame the women for.
Yes.
That's not a woman.
And you know what? And you all are not even open to
We
hearing
like
any-
warmth.
Okay,
We
so
like things to go inside.
gotcha.
We like
Gotcha.
witnesses.
Gotcha.
Y'all don't care.
Gotcha.
Y'all care. Y'all can have sex and not even have an orgasm. If we put it inside you and we don't bust one, it's not even sex.
Okay, so
Y'all can have it without even. It just felt good. It just felt good. So
yes, we can. Absolutely, we
Right.
can.
We can't do that.
Okay.
We can't do that. Oh, we learned.
So
We get it.
okay, so let me just say this. Let me just in the women's defense.
You have a hot flash.
I'm going. I absolutely am
It's
having a
hot in here.
single
Nothing to
moment.
do with it. Like, it's hot.
But I am going to give you examples of when a man shuts down the sex camp after marriage.
Give me an
Okay,
example.
so I have heard numerous, because I talk to people and I want to know what's going on. I have had many women who have come to me and shared with me their experiences that after the woman gave birth, and the man witnessed
Yeah,
childbirth,
they saw remote.
they saw
It was a
the
problem.
actual delivery, that he completely lost interest.
And I lost my mind when I saw it. I didn't even have it because I was in the room with someone that asked me to be in there. And when I saw that split and that line of blood from those, I'm big, I'm brolic. I felt woozy.
Okay, but that to me is the most selfish, vain,
Jesus did that to me.
silly. That's the most silly
It's an
reason I've ever heard.
Bounce
egotistical
back.
thing for me.
I didn't faint on
And the-
purpose.
oh,
No,
I'm not saying you bounce back, but I'm just saying you will bounce back.
I hit it after,
Okay.
but she had to
okay.
heal first.
As long as you, but
Got the stitches.
some men never recoup from that.
Oh, I'm not
that
that man.
visual they never get over. You
I'm
know,
not.
there are times when a woman might gain a little bit of weight and she might be 10 or 15 pounds heavier. The man just don't want it. And I'm not saying he's not cheap, but I'm just saying there are reasons also why that men shut down. Everybody wants to blame women for the sex not happening.
It's something in
You
there.
got just as much time.
not-
to bounce
it's not
back
only
as
the
you had when you
women.
were pregnant.
What?
You should have just as much time to bounce back as you had when you was pregnant. That's how I feel.
9 months.
So 9 months.
It should be, yeah. It should be fair.
That's
Something
fair.
about
Okay, so
faster
now
than
you're
that.
saying that, but then what are your needs and wants in that time frame? So it takes her 9 months
Oh
to
no, no, I'm
heal.
talking, no.
You
Oh,
said-
my bad. I should have clarified.
Right,
You
clarify
just said
that.
something about the woman gaining 10 to 15 pounds. That's what I'm talking about. The 9 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what if she doesn't ever lose that baby weight?
Shame on her.
With me,
That's not fair.
It's not fair.
not fair.
Because you signed on for what you got, and then now you got a bigger size. And
Oh, whoa. That is the most elementary explanation I think I've ever heard.
But most explanations are elementary.
People are always going to change and evolve.
100%.
Sometimes they change.
They
for
need
the
to change
better.
together, though.
Sometimes they change for the worse. But when you love a person, what you sign up for when you marry somebody is forever.
Right.
That's what you sign. You sign
For
up
better or
forever.
worse.
Right.
So regardless of whether they
Not worse
gain
on
weight
purpose,
or
though.
lose weight,
Sometimes
if they gain or if they lose, you shouldn't stop loving that woman
no.
because
I'm not
that's
saying I
vanity.
stop
That's
loving.
not love.
I'm not
That's
saying I
just
stop
not
loving,
people.
but we talking. I'm not saying divorce. I'm not saying about leave. I'm saying about the okay. So
You get turned off and
and
so you don't want
attraction.
it.
So no, I ain't saying anymore. Maybe less, because the vision that I had when she walked down that aisle, the vision that I had when I saw her in the wherever I saw her,
You was dating.
saying that I
Yeah.
want to go get this woman and make this woman mine. Don't look like that no more. Now I understand if you got hit by a car in the face, you got in some type of accident, you had something that hurt. But then when you have all the same capabilities, time, tables, and possibilities to go fix what got broken. And mind you, I'm saying it for both too, because I don't believe you should be.
Yeah, I was
a
gonna
dude-
say, what's
I don't
happening?
believe you should be a dude that looked a certain way and then get a pot belly because you got a girl either. So I'm 100% balanced with this, but at least an effort.
But most women aren't going to lose interest in their man because they get a pot belly or because they get their grown man weight on. Men have a tendency to put a lot of pressure on women to look the same way, but you guys don't have to go through menopause. You don't have to go through childbirth. You don't have to go through cycles. You don't have to go through you don't have to go through anything. Whoa, this is what you ain't gonna do. No, because this is real serious. This is real serious. It's not fair. Why is it fair? I mean, and help me out. You all don't have to go through anything that we have to go through.
Oh, we go through heartache,
physically,
stress.
emotionally.
I'm not just teasing.
We bear that. We get pregnant.
I understand what
we
you're
have
saying.
pregnancy weight. We have children. We have postpartum. We go through menopause. That's all on the woman. But you
Right.
still expect us to look the same way
gotta
we
beat up-
did
we gotta
when
beat
we
up
were
the
walking
guy
down the
trying to
aisle. Have a seat somewhere.
We gotta beat up the guy that's gotta hurt
Because
you.
when you really
You gotta
marry
protect.
for okay, but when you really marry for love, all that stuff is out the window.
Supposed
If
to
you really love somebody,
100%.
does all that. I mean, because nobody is more picky than I am.
Right.
I am picky to a fault. Like I will pick a man, and I recognize that, and I've been working on that. But if I really truly love a man, I don't care what his faults are. I don't care. I'm going to ride or die with that man. I look
Get to that point
beyond.
first, right? It takes you a
Yeah,
while.
but if you marry a woman, shouldn't you be at that point?
And then what about the other stuff?
Can I break
Over
down
the
what
years,
Gerald is
the
trying to say?
aging
Can I
process,
the
can I
grade
translate?
coming in.
Y'all, we doing that together. That's Jesus doing that on purpose.
But I'm just saying that's not how I got you. So suppose I flip the script on you and say the same thing
Oh,
with
okay.
you.
So.
I want to translate for Gerald. I want to translate what he's saying. I don't agree, but women gain weight after the baby. I don't care about that. As long as her attitude doesn't change. But what Gerald is saying, what attracted to him to that woman, he would love to have that same attractiveness after the baby. That would cause a man to wonder because he has a certain type. Now she doesn't fit that mold. Am I right?
I'm going to clarify that even more. You're 100% correct, but the one thing I'm going to say with that is you gained the weight, you have the baby, and you were doing things before you got me, before you had the baby. Baby's born. I know there's a breastfeeding process. I'm just coming here from a maternity shoot before I came in. Excuse me, 1-year-old shoot. And I'm literally, I don't know why she chose to do it while I was there. Took a 5-minute break to breastfeed this little child.
Maybe she wanted you to see her breast.
No. Her mother was there and her husband
Make
was
a
there,
difference.
whatever. But I had to be a grown up and whatever. 5 minute, you gonna pay me more per hour, whatever. But what I'm gonna say is that when you finish and you're done going through all the changes and all the stitches is got everything back together, you got the weight on you. Understand? There were things that you were doing that all of a sudden you're not doing no more. That's when I got a problem. Because you stopped doing those things that you were doing before you had the baby that was keeping you sexy for me, and I can see it because I have been living with you or been with you for a certain amount of time. I know you didn't eat that extra brownie. I know you didn't have that extra pizza.
So give me some
But now
examples.
you haven't.
Give me some
That's
examples.
examples. I'm giving you.
Oh, okay, because you know what? This is why a lot of men hesitate in getting married. A lot of men hear all of the negative comments that their boys make about marriage. Man, don't do it. Don't do it, bro. Don't do it.
That's a job opening.
Don't do it. I'm sorry, Boo, about that. But what they tell their boys is, don't do it, man. Because after the marriage, the sex stop. Don't do it. So what we want to do is we sort of want to dive in and find out. Okay, give us some examples of what you're talking about because we.
As far as don't
Okay,
do it, man.
so right now what we're talking about is you said the woman is not doing the same things that she was doing
To maintain herself.
before. Like what? Like going to the gym or
I'm not saying that the baby is not taking less time away, but I'm saying if you got it equal, if all the parameters are set where there's nothing that's keeping her from doing the things that she was doing before. I'm not saying that, she has a baby now and the baby's causing her more time or whatever. But if all the parameters are set where everything is exactly the same because it's settled down, the baby is born and it's settled down and now you do have that time again because for whatever reason, then you just choose not to again. Now, you have the right to, but there's people get in trouble for things that they do, and people get in trouble for things that they don't do. People get rewards for things that they do, and people get rewards for things that they don't do. Correct? It depends on what you're talking about.
Right.
Just talking about what we talking about.
course, yeah.
So, you were doing something and you got a reward. I'm gonna talk about me. Never mind. I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about a man. A man goes to the gym, works out, looks a certain way, dresses a certain way, smells a certain way. He gets a woman that would not have chosen him in the beginning if he didn't look a certain way, smell a certain way, dress a certain way.
Gotcha.
Got the woman now. He got comfortable. He stopped going to the gym. He stinks now. He don't dress right. He got a pot belly and he had a six pack. He got a pot belly. That woman, in my opinion, has a right to be like, what the hell is going on with you? What happened to what I signed on for? I'm telling you the complete opposite.
But if that's the case, are you really in love with that individual, or is it just a vanity piece that attracted you?
There's a whole bunch of parameters that cause love. There's finance, there's sex, there's attraction, there's credit score. I don't care. There's families.
The person's heart is really what should
understood. That is the
attract you.
foundation.
Unconditional.
That's the
love.
foundation.
Yeah.
But we are visual creatures.
Yeah.
Women are we're visual creatures first, and then emotion second. Women are emotional first, visual second. Now there are some flips.
We're visual, but we're visual first, but that is overshadowed by the emotional.
Right. So
Yeah.
you're visual, but then you hope the romance works out. We're visual. We don't give a damn about the romance until after we want to claim this girl because she looks. We're visual because we want to hit it. And then after we hit, then we'll work about.
Quit. You want to hit it and quit it.
No. Then we want to find out if we want to quit it or not. We don't want to hit it and quit it. We want to because
That's why you ain't getting ready to hit this till it's already.
The biggest player on earth usually ends up married sooner or later. It may take later, but sooner or later.
Nobody want him when he's 98 years old and ready. I don't want you when you're 98 years old and ready.
Precious saying
And
virtue.
you look for
Somebody for
somebody to
somebody.
take care of him.
I don't.
It's somebody for somebody.
You can go ahead and stay on single if you come to 70 years old talking about I'm ready
Ready to
now.
get married.
I'm ready
Okay,
to
but
settle down.
suppose he's hitting on a 7-year-old woman too.
Okay,
That's somebody
so
for everybody.
somebody for
I'm not
everybody.
talking about ideals. I'm talking about there's somebody for everybody. So
And you're, you know what, Gerald, at the end of the day, I mean, as much as I hate to acknowledge it, I do believe that you're right and some of the things that you're saying. Let me go ahead and reach out to some of the viewers. Hey, Yolanda, Nikki Winters, Krishana, Angela Gibson, what's going on, my sister, Shirlene, hey baby, Tammy, hey, thank you baby, I love you, thanks for your love. Angelique Dion says your priorities and schedules change after you get married and have a baby. She says you have to put more of an effort to keep the flame burning. And it's like where it was effortless before for women to satisfy you, there was no effort because our priorities were straight. It was you, job, yada, 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 yada. Well, God, you, job. So it was effortless. We didn't have anything distracting us from being there wholeheartedly for you. Okay, the priorities change when kids start. You have to be able to. If the priorities don't change, who gonna potty train the child? Is the kid ever gonna get potty trained? Is he gonna get breastfed? Is he in the middle of the night when you have to make it? It becomes effort,
Right.
That's all I'm
Everybody has to
saying.
play their
it
part.
becomes effort without a
effortless
child.
to
Though.
effort.
It becomes effort in longevity without a child. You can start to get bored of each other. You got to do something. You want to role play. You want to do whatever.
The thing that couples, not women, mistakes that couples make, they don't have an agreement or arrangement on, hey, I'm going to give you this time out so you can get yourself together. Let's say if I'm coming in from work, she's been there with the kid all day. I come get the kid so she can have a break. I feed, breastfeed, whatever like that.
Right.
And hey, you want to clean outside, clean house, whatever. That sets the stage for the evening, for the nightcap.
And with the positive strokes. Baby, you're doing a wonderful job with the baby. I notice how you give us credit when credit is due.
Right.
Don't take
Because that's another job for us.
Don't take for granted that that's what we're supposed to do.
Right.
When we want to do a date night, don't look at us to find a babysitter. I already had that hooked up for us.
Okay.
Say
I
this.
got no problem with this. See, that's no problem with what you say.
Make it easy.
Right.
But most of the time, unfortunately, it's all on us.
Yeah.
We've got to make everything happen, and then you still want us to perform and be on point and be physically appeasing to you. I mean, there are a lot of expectations of women. There just are. There are a lot of expectations, and some people go back and they say, well, that's Eve's fault. Okay, well, yeah, it is what it is.
Expectations on us from y'all?
There are some expectations.
It don't balance? Just don't balance?
And you don't always meet them. I'm just going to put that out there.
This is
But we love you anyway, because that's what women do. We love you. We love you anyway. through all your shortcomings and your flaws, we still gonna love you and we still gonna ride it
Are we
out.
talking about? Are we talking about? A woman
talking about-
leaving a man because him, or are we talking
No.
about the fact that the sex is getting worse?
Just stop.
Okay, so Krishana says, I find it interesting that the men are weighing in on women's reproduction and postpartum issues.
Right, when they ain't never had a child.
It is very interesting, and I agree with you, sis, on that. She says men are just as responsible and can be just as withdrawn from sex in a relationship as women. Bingo, Krishana, you're absolutely right, which is
100%.
exactly why I touched on that point. It's not always just women who are withdrawn, you know. And let's face it. And I'm going to go one further. Yeah. And I want you guys to wait for this. Are you listening? Sometimes men disconnect from the relationship, not because their women are neglecting them because they've had the babies, and not because the women have gained a little bit of extra weight, and not because the women are no longer swinging from the chandeliers and doing everything sexually. Sometimes men disengage sexually, men, not women, sometimes because, wait for it, because they cheating. Come on.
Oh, women don't cheat.
Oh, I'm not saying women
Women
don't
don't
cheat.
cheat.
But what I'm saying is sometimes that disengagement has nothing to do
No, it's
with
called
what
cause
a
and
woman
effect.
is or is not doing. Sometimes he done seen something that's more because remember,
No,
they're
no.
physical creatures, so they like what is appeasing to the eye. Sometimes men disengage from a relationship because they found something that is more appeasing to them. Maybe it's temporarily, maybe they won't ever leave home, but sometimes that is why the sex stops. So we're not gonna put this all on a woman. We're not gonna carry that cross on our back.
Okay,
We got
so-
too many other crosses to bear.
So there's no Idris.
Okay.
There's no Dexter St. John.
I'm
There's
just
no
saying.
Denzel. There's
I'm
none
not
of that.
saying there's not, but you know, when a woman is feeling neglected, ain't no telling what she might do.
Okay, well then, speak on it then. You know what I'm
Okay,
saying?
I'm
But see,
just-
they
Now,
they
that
so
ain't saying
big.
balance. We talked about balance last week. It's still right.
It's gonna be balanced every week.
Right, it's applied. But that's what I'm saying. It is. It has to be applied in that situation as well.
Right.
You do have to have it. So really, in your particular case, because some pregnancies, if we're talking about that as well, are not planned until you actually have a situation to arise when it comes. You know, like, okay, you say, when we got married,
Okay, so listen. So Demetria Lambert, Dr. Demetria says,
Hey, doctor.
"Hey, Doc, we're glad to have you back."
doctor. Okay, doctor, here we go.
Demetria,
Here we go. We
love
got
her,
doctors
love
out
her.
Yes,
Jesus Christ.
She says, number one, absence makes the heart grow fonder. When you don't have access to a person all the time,
Sense is
you
a
want them
weapon.
more. It's not always about the will, but biology. Okay. She says, number two, women generally don't want sex all the time. They want it most the week after the menstruation because ovulation starts and makes them more sexually aroused. That's some women, and you got some women like my soror over here who wants her husband all the time.
I do.
Like,
Gotta have it like he says, a rabbit.
all the time, all the time.
No, but see-
but hold on, I'm
Okay,
not
but you're
finished.
not done. Okay.
And she says women prioritize effort. Children come before sex and biology. Sexual desires suppressed so women can take care of the children.
What about when they go to
So
sleep?
What about what?
When the kids go to sleep.
Yeah. Oh no.
We're,
the
we're
child
worn out.
over
We're
here-
exhausted.
Sleep too.
We're exhausted. We want.
Sometimes. You do want your
As a
body.
mother,
Me too. I
As
want
a,
to sleep.
as a mother,
That's how. That's my before.
as a mother, you got to sleep when the child sleeps because we're exhausted when they go to sleep. So you
Right.
talking about can we do it when they sleep? When they sleep, we sleep.
Go to sleep. That should be-
I mean, when they sleep, we want to sleep.
Right.
Okay, so Ursula says, hey, Ursula says,
9-pound
Tisa.
baby
Ursula
Jesus
says,
on the manger.
Tisa, who is Mr. Chocolate? It's
CHOCLATE.
Mr. Choco Latte. And ladies, and fine too, y'all. He fine.
Promote him,
He-
put him out
This ain't got
there.
nothing
You know
to
what?
do
Put him
with
on the
But you
market.
know what? But look, but you know I'm a strong one. Ain't no man finer than I am. I'm just go. But no, he's fine. He's fine, y'all. Fine and smart.
nothing to do with having the baby.
So she says, Tisa, who is Mr. Chocolate, tell him don't come for us. Your vision should have fallen in love. Your vision should have fallen in love in her heart, nothing and no one stays the same. Point blank and period.
100%.
Okay?
So what's she saying?
And Demetrius, Dr. Demetrius says, who is this man? Is he for real? I need to be a live panelist. This is some food. So you don't
Bring it. Bring it.
Taking the crown from me.
Doctor, bring it.
Ursula says, love is not how you look. Dr. D says, does this man realize that a woman's hips physically move apart when she's pregnant?
Yep.
Those are joints and bones.
Right.
You can lose all the weight you want. Bones aren't going to go back together.
I like when it's spread.
Boom.
I like when it's
She
spread.
also says that the words that's coming out of Mr. Chocolate's mouth make him less attractive.
It's okay. I'm not scared of y'all.
Dr. Demetria Lambert.
Hey, doctor.
I'm not scared of her. I'm not scared. So I got to change my view because
Yeah.
you think I'm gonna get ugly? Like, I'm gonna be me.
So Earlene says there's no such thing as for whatever reason. I've been married for 25 years. It's about love, not lust. Go ahead on Earlene Graves. Okay, so we're going to hear from a man now. Mr. Darren McDaniel says men are more visual, physical,
What's up,
attracted to
just say
females. Emotion comes second.
What's
for
up,
most men.
Darren? Did I just say that?
And you know, and Anthony McLean, another man, I like the men are chiming in. Anthony McLean says, me being a man in my 40s, it does stop, and a man is still in need. Sex does stop, and a man is still in need.
Yes.
Lewis Harkness, all the men are chiming in tonight, and I'm loving it. Thank you so much for chiming in. Lewis Harkness says, dude, people change, but Lewis is coming at y'all. He says, dude, people change physically and sexually. Boom. Yes, they do. And if you're signed on for the long haul, men, if you really love beyond the vanity part of it, if you can love beyond that and really fall in love with the woman, her heart, her soul, her spirit, that stuff does not matter. I mean,
Yes, it does matter.
You,
It
no,
plays
you
a big
prefer
part.
it.
I prefer
You
it,
prefer
yes.
it, but it is not going to stop you from loving her, from making love to her, from being with her. It won't stop that.
Well, she just needs to hire a stunt double, okay?
What did you
stunt
say?
double. She needs to hire a stunt double. But
She needs to hire a
stunt double. If she
stunt
come
double.
like doctor, I
Oh
want to
my
go back to what doctor said.
Wow.
What the doctor said. I know it changes sometimes. Women don't want to, but at least communicate that to us. Say, hey, I need a break. I want to take a break. We'll understand. We'll go do some push-ups or something. But don't just say no. Okay. It's like
Yeah,
Destiny
it is
Child.
about communication.
Okay, so let me ask you this. What happens, and I'm just going to keep it real, and women and men alike chime in. So what happens when your libido takes a vacation? What happens when you just can't get it up no more? What happens
You
at that
gotta
point?
preach to the choir.
Do we have
Okay.
Absolutely. When your
Go
soldiers
ahead,
stop
you go ahead.
marching.
No, we don't fight.
Hold. Let me finish.
Okay.
Let me finish. What happens when it no longer functions properly? When it no longer works? Do we hold? Do we have
Get to it. Hurry up now.
do we have the permission to go cheat on you or be turned off from you or not try to satisfy you in any way? Do we have the permission to completely disconnect? Because that is no fault of your own. That is nothing that you can help. So do we, in that instant, do we have the permission now?
To step out.
Because it's no longer about your physical stature. It's no longer about your
if we
six
give
pack.
you the
It's not-
permission-
What's the
it's
wait
not-
period,
No,
though?
you ain't got to
Ain't
give
no
me
wait
permission.
period. What about
If you can't give me what I need, do I have the permission to step out?
Listen.
That's what I want to
And
know.
I've had this conversation with actually a married couple, and I was done. I asked the exact same question. This man asked this woman, friends of mine. This man asked this woman. Excuse me, it didn't happen. I told him, don't you dare do it. But he was about to ask his wife because of something she had, a hysterectomy or something like that, and all of a sudden, all her women parts did not leak no more. They just stopped working. She never wanted to have sex. Now, ultimately, he did end up leaving her because of that. Ultimately, and I actually felt kind of bad about that, but it's not my business. And he's married, very happily married today to a woman that is, well, the battery was the one that dead.
That's okay. We don't need it. We're good.
You can see it? Okay.
We're good.
Very happily married today to a woman that is, according to him, a freak. So he's very, very happy with that, and they're very happy.
I'm not talking about him, though. I'm talking about you.
But,
Sam, what
I
about
want to know about
Let's
Mr. Chop.
get into it. I'm about to get into
I
it.
want to know about
If
it.
I'm tired and we waited on
hello? Would you
If-
speak about it?
If I am not, because I am so I guess, out there, but very, very honest. If I love my woman to death, and I was giving it to her, I'm pie out, and all of a sudden my parts don't work no more.
The pie out wouldn't pop.
Yeah, it's
shut down.
and I could not perform the way that I was performing because of something that I can't help.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell her, if she asks me, I'm gonna tell her either yes or no, but the yes means I'm willing to say, and the no means I'm going. And I'm not gonna be mad about it because it's something that I can't help.
So
Are you giving her permission to
That's me.
step out?
That's
That's
me.
what I'm saying.
If she asks me
So are you
permission,
giving her permission to cheat?
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
that
because it's not fair. Because I know what would happen if it was me. It's the same reason why I've never. Maybe I'm talking too much TMI.
No.
but
I
all my life-
want to know because I think that so many expectations are put on women, and we have so many hurdles naturally, physically to overcome to meet those expectations, to maintain the same physical stature, the same. You all want us to be able to compete at 45 with the 25-year-olds. So there are so many expectations that are put on us. Yes, there are so many
Are you saying
expectations.
all men?
Let her talk because
One thing we can do, we can sing together, but we can't talk together. Let me finish a thought, and then I will give you the same courtesy. No, absolutely, because there are so many expectations that are put on us as women. There are expectations for us to look a certain way, to perform a certain way, but you all don't have to go through the things that we have to go through that become hurdles for us to make that happen. So I just want to know that if something happens to you all and you can't perform anymore, that you would be just as comfortable with us saying we are no longer engaged, we are disengaged, we are turned off, our eyes are wondering. I want to know that if the shoe were on the other foot, because a lot of these things that we go through, we can't help as women. So if you can no longer perform, that's not something that you can necessarily help. Is it okay at that point that we
I
step
don't like
out?
it, but I would like, because you're gonna cheat anyway.
Not necessarily.
that's right. Don't say that.
But you're not asking the right
You are
question,
dead.
though.
I'm gonna tell you something. Not only are you wrong, you dead A wrong for that. Because if I'm with you, trust and believe. If I'm
Even
with
my, even my
if you
top
love
one.
that
I'm
person.
riding or dying. I'm gonna ride it out to the wheels
So you
fall
just
off.
gonna go with that now.
But
No
You
sex
better
no more with
you know,
your
we're gonna come up with other creative ways.
And you're gonna go out without a fight. You're gonna go out
And
without a
everything
fight.
else that you that
What
works.
else is it?
Everything else that
Offended.
works.
Okay. All right.
But I'm saying
That's
there's
how
other
we
ways
do
that
it.
you can find to help yourself.
Sorry,
Saying,
hold
are
on.
you giving it up? That's what I'm saying. Are you giving it up? So I'm just gonna. You're not even giving it up.
Why didn't you let me talk?
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Let him in.
I'm sorry, Grady. Grady, you interrupt so much
I know.
that when it is your time, nobody's listening.
When the man stops functioning or his functioning slows down, he should be willing to either go to the doctor, get himself checked, or change your diet, change the way you eat.
But medically, sometimes people have high blood pressures. Those kind of factors sometimes affects that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but they got blue pills. They got
It don't always work though. If it's impotent, it doesn't
learn
always
how to
work.
crunch and munch. That's all I can say. Keep that woman in the house.
That's God.
What's
told me.
crunch and munch?
Okay, so let's read a few more comments. I love to read the comments from you guys, so I want to read a few more comments because this is what makes it for me. Hey Renata, hey girl. Krishana says, and I hope I'm saying her name right, Krishana Roberson. She said, what separates a relationship and a marriage is paperwork. And technically, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
Okay.
The same effort, intentionality, energy, attention needs to happen throughout from both partners. When we are at work, we can't slack or we get fired. Boom. Yeah, that's true. How does this not apply to a relationship or a marriage? And I agree with that. I agree completely. But you know what? Here's what happens when you're at work and you start slacking. There's a paper trail that starts. You don't just get fired. A lot of times when it comes to and I'm speaking from both sides. and I'm speaking from a general manager from 26 years in the industry and management, there's a paperwork trail that I start on associates, but I give them every single solitary opportunity to improve their performance prior to termination. You know what I'm saying? I do everything in my power to help them be successful. I don't down talk them. I do, and a lot of my associates who follow me on Facebook can chime in and speak to this. It's not my intention to just terminate the relationship. It's my intention to help you become better. But also, what I do recognize as a good manager is this: I can't expect people to adapt to my management style. That would speak in volumes of my true character. Hold on, I'm getting to it. That would mean that I have one style to accommodate a million different styles of people that I hire. That's asinine for me to think that could actually happen. So as a good manager, I have to be able to adapt to each person's different personality and characteristics. In a marriage, it's the same. People change and people are going to evolve, but when you are invested in that marriage and in that relationship, you adapt to their evolution. You adapt to their changes. You don't bail on them. That's the best analogy that I can give. That's the way it should happen in a relationship. So and that's just my 2 cents, but that is certainly the way I feel. Renata says, hey, Renata Dane, my girl, effort is required from each of them on every level, including communication. Allowing men time for each other to regroup, allowing me time for each other to regroup as individuals, which will allow you to maintain what attracted you to each other in the beginning. Very good. Ursula says, sex gets better after marriage. It's the frequency that changes because of life. Here, Tammy says the same thing.
It does. I mean, you're right.
I'm gonna tell you. Married, so I don't know. I'm telling you, for women, it's peak time. You know what I mean? When I hit my mid to late 40s, I was just like, oh my gosh.
That's a mechanism.
This is wonderful. Like, sex was the best thing. I'm just saying.
It's about crisis. It's a mechanism.
So she says, Ursula says, we need consideration, emotional support, and help. We are not robots. It's the simple things that matter, like doing laundry and dishes or cooking dinner. Absolutely, we need help because by the time the kids are asleep, we're exhausted. If all you all are doing is working all day, coming in from work, kicking back, eating the meal that we prepared, and we got to do everything else.
But you don't ask the man to do anything.
We shouldn't have to ask.
You should step up.
That is your job, just like it's ours.
Okay, true. Okay, I agree with you.
What is he talking about? We don't ask the men.
But sometimes if you're tired, say something that you're tired.
Why should we have to, Grady?
Okay.
It's a man's responsibility to take care of the family, just like it's ours.
But sometimes a man come home, he try to do this, say, go sit down, get out my way, I got this. So you tell us to go sit down, you got this, so we're gonna think you got this all the time. So we're not gonna get in your way.
That's not okay. Do you ever think to come home and just ask that woman, baby, what do you need from me today?
You're gonna get that one.
What do you need? No.
Once you give us that first note, we'll never cross that bridge again.
Okay, and that's why you ain't getting the sex on the regular. How about that? How about that?
I'm gonna say something.
It's all about compromise. That's exactly what you were gonna say. That's why you get it from another one, and that's why you get those divorce papers.
No, it wasn't about getting another one.
If you want it on the regular, if you want the woman to be able to respond and help us out, and then you know what? Don't just ask us one time, do we need help? How can we help? You ask us on a daily basis.
I've been a military spouse, right? So my wife, she's been in the service. So I've been home raising the kids. After my daughter was born, I fed her milk. I did a lot, as a military spouse. Okay. I helped the kids with their homework. Okay. And I went to school at night while she was in the army. She did her stuff on the day. I kept the kids during the day, going back and forth to the school, making sure everything was right with the school. And I had class at night, and I had a part-time night job. But my functions were still working, was still in me. But by her being active duty, and she was tired a lot, so
shame on her.
I did everything, but it was still
So,
no.
I mean,
It was still slow. I'm gonna say no. It was still
When your
slow.
knees, what is it? When your knees been made, you had. Because what are you saying? Because you said she worked all day. You worked too because you went to school. You took care of the kids. That's your
Yeah,
job
but-
too. So and then you
Right.
said you worked a part-time job.
Yeah, but I still wanted it. I still want action. You know, I still want to comfort. That's why I say comfort.
I think
You know
that
what I
as
mean?
long as a man is, I think
So it
I
goes
think
both
some,
ways.
I think one of the most attractive things in a man, and I'm attracted to what comes out of a man's mouth, what's in his heart. I'm attracted to. Men have asked me many times, and sometimes I've been stumped, but most time I've been able to answer because I believe in dialogue. But they've asked me like, why do you love me? And the number one reason I love a man is because of the way he loves me, the way he treats me, the way he makes me feel, the words that come out, the way that he makes me feel that I'm the only woman on this earth, even though I'm not. Those things provide security for women. Security,
Right.
that safety, that stability that we look for. So, you know, back to his point, Gerald's point earlier when he said, you know, I would give a woman permission to cheat if I
can't do nothing.
if I could no longer perform. But what you fail to realize is this: women will come up with so many creative alternatives to stepping out on a man
Yes.
prior to cheating to them because they love him.
Yes.
And their
Bravo.
loyalties are with him. Bravo, but brother, maybe you need to get to that point, Bobo.
My tackle still work. I don't have these
Okay,
problems.
but you
No,
don't.
no, I'm
but that's
saying-
now. But we're saying
You said when it stops.
When
Why you putting that on me?
Hey, man,
Why we gotta talk about this?
we're talking
Ding
about.
ding swing.
We're talking. Okay. Jesus,
what you ain't gonna do?
he's like, what
This
you
ain't the right
ain't gonna
topic.
do
We
is
come
put
here for
that
this.
on me. I'm just saying, you made some very bold comments about a woman and what your expectations are from a woman. All I am
I
saying
expect
is,
them to have expectations of me too.
right, but what I'm saying, the way that men and women differ is this. If the expectations aren't met, from the female perspective, if you don't meet my expectations, I'm going to do everything in my power to try to help you get there, to try to help you meet them. As men, a lot of
Suppose I
times,
still don't mean it. Now what?
then we're going to have some serious
I give up.
conversations. Eventually, I might, but it's not going to be
Can I say
without a
this?
fight. I'm going to look for reasons to stay
I'm
engaged
going to
before
try
I
to get
look
my
for
ding ding
reasons
up
to
before I
cheat
tell you
and
you
get.
can do something else. I'm going to try.
Gerald,
You know
I'm
what?
just gonna- Gerald, I don't want you to think I'm against you on this, Gerald. I don't want you to think I'm against you, Gerald, when I say this. A woman, when you get to say something like that to a woman is gonna think you never did like it. So you treating her like trash. So you like, well, I can't do no more. You going about your
I
business.
100% understand it, but that's just a casualty of war to me. Because
dang.
at the end of the day, she's going to think what she want to think regardless. So I'm going to put it out there. Think about the power of me saying to my woman, my girl, my wife, my whatever, listen, I can't do it no more. And if you want to go, now I'm not going to offer it. I'm not going to offer it as she brings it to me. But if I feel bad, if she's staying there looking gorgeous as I require my woman to look, or I have for my woman, and she can't do, and we had a very, very strong sexual relationship, and all of a sudden I'm the reason why. I'm gonna feel the way. And if my thing is, it might sound weak to some men. I have no problem with this. Speak to me one-on-one. I'll show you weak. But what I say is, strength in me is, I don't want nobody to suffer because of me. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Now, I'm not saying that you need to do it in reverse for me too. I'm just saying that you asked me a question. Now, here's the other thing. You've been married? You married?
Yeah.
You married?
Yes.
You've been married?
14 years.
I've never been married, so maybe my perspective might change.
It's a little
if and
premature.
when, if I am married, maybe I might change. But me, as a single man that has never been married,
I mean, yeah, you go back.
maybe I might change.
But this is,
But yeah.
we need to hear from you as well. And I'm going to read a comment from Dr. Lambert because this comment is sort of power packed. All I am saying is this, and I want to make sure that I'm making myself perfectly clear as I speak this. What I think you all fail to realize is this. It is not, you don't become a burden to us when we really love you. when you are with a woman who is connected with your soul, there are soul ties there, and we really love you. Anytime are obstacles, we just think about, okay, how can we overcome it and move forward? Because giving up is really not an option to us.
You're not being fair.
Oh, I'm
You're not being fair
real.
because you're thinking that I'm saying, okay, it don't work, go cheat. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying after I try everything, after I see that you're suffering, that's what I mean. I'm not saying that, oh, today I'm impotent and tomorrow, I'm Monday impotent, Tuesday go get interest. I'm not
And
saying
disclaimer, if he ever is impotent, it is not my fault. But
What? I didn't hear what you said. You was talking to them.
Dr. Demetrius says, I don't disagree with Mr. Chocolate. They didn't rename you.
My name can't
That with nuts or without
My
nuts?
brother.
Mine's with nuts. My nuts work. Yeah. My jewels jingle.
don't rename you. She says, Dr. Demetrius says, I don't disagree with Mr. Chocolate, but he sounds asinine in his delivery. I had 2 miscarriages, 3 kids, 4 C-section surgeries,
Jesus.
almost died after the last child, and 3 other uterine surgeries due to birth control. I gained a lot of weight. But what I will say, she might have gained weight, but she always been built now. Demetria, but she always been fine. Time that I know. We're fellow vocalists at the same church. She's fine now. I've lost, and you know that's the thing. The beautiful thing about us women, like we got the butt and the hips and the small waist, so we can gain 20, 30 pounds.
It may not be
and
right.
still,
It may
yeah,
be certain
so she said, but hold on, she said I've lost weight and have been told by my I've lost weight. Been told by more than one person, I now have a Coke bottle shape, but it took a long time. What if my husband had left before I got there? And what is that man's name anyway? His name is Gerald.
My name is Gerald.
With a lowercase or capital G.
But Mr. Chocolate works.
I want to say this, Gerald, to you, Gerald. You said when a woman that you with, she had a baby, she gained weight. Right. So when you with her, you ever had sex with a pregnant woman before?
Yes, the same woman I was in the room with.
So pregnant woman, that's the best sex ever, right?
It's wet.
Okay. All right. But when a woman gains weight, it's just like being with a pregnant woman. Same thing.
Oh,
the temperature is the
that's a
same.
different perspective.
You know what I mean?
But that
Oh my goodness.
Okay, that's a different way to look at
I don't
it.
even like skinny women.
And I don't like little tiny women either.
Okay,
I'm little women.
okay, DJ
I
Great
like
Baby.
women. I like human women.
Right.
So I get that. But what I'm saying is, I'm not talking about a woman that's big. I'm talking about
So
a
you
woman
do
that's
like
out of hand.
So you do like thick women.
Yes.
But what you call out of
Yes,
hand?
yeah, y'all are beautiful women to me. I'm not saying that I like skinny
We
women.
already know
I'm
that.
saying,
I'm
dude,
just saying.
I'm saying women. I'm talking about when you get. Okay, so this is the
What you
perfect
call out
example.
of
This
hand?
is me.
What's the size?
Okay, I'm gonna give you a perfect. The ratios is what I'm talking about. If a woman still has this, okay, what's the way to say it? We were made to look like, men were made, in my opinion, men were made to look like the letter V. Women were made to look like the number 8. V8.
Okay.
You can have a big size 8, and you can have a small size 8, and it's still sexy to me, because I'm not just about the woman's size, I'm also about the woman who takes care of her hair, nails, and kind of shoes she wears, whatever.
So just
I'm
don't let her stuff
I'm talking
out.
about a woman that went from an 8, and then all of a sudden she got a stomach that's the same as a man, and she lost her actual
So she done
ratios.
gone from an 8 to a pair. That's what
She
you
went from exactly like some women are lucky that they can have a little bit of stomach and they have a stomach up under the but the chest hides it and stuff. I'm good, but I'm talking about someone who looked like I don't know Venus and Serena Williams, and now they look like Bebo Bryson. That's what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? That whole shape change. They went from a figure eight to a barrel.
You know,
Right.
brick
That's
house
what I'm
to
talking
house.
about.
You talking about Venus and Serena to Bebo or to Precious?
Both.
Yeah, because let's
Whatever
just
you wanna-
keep it
whatever you
real.
wanna
Let's
talk about,
tell the ladies what they need.
Because
you know.
okay, perfect example.
Okay.
What's her name? She's gorgeous to me, and I think I said it last week. Jill Scott.
Yeah.
Absolutely gorgeous.
She
Big
is
woman.
bad. Yes, I
Shape,
agree.
breast.
I agree.
beautiful face.
Voluptuous.
She's
That's what
gorgeous.
you call
And that's
voluptuous.
a big giant woman. I've seen her in person.
She ain't no big giant.
She's a big giant.
She's probably a size 16.
Now put it like
She ain't
this.
no giant.
Compared
She's
to
voluptuous.
listen, but compared to what people are probably thinking,
She's the average size.
Just
to be
like
honest.
this, if you talk about me and all y'all people that are calling me chocolate and got a problem with me on this podcast, understand something. You see me on this phone or whatever. I'm 6'4". I'm 260 pounds. What I look like being with
Exactly, but I'm saying, you know, most women strive to look like the women in the videos on TV. And I'm gonna tell you, I'm a size 12 all day long, but
Most
I
men
also,
don't even know what that means.
stand 5'9", 5'10".
Most men don't even
so
know those
that
numbers.
means I'm on the plus side. I'm considered by society standards plus size or curvy. And I do modeling, but it's called the curvy model.
I'm a photographer.
It's not
I thought
regular.
16 was
you know,
size.
no, it's not 16, baby. It's
When you get to the
anything
double
over
digits.
anything over a size 10. Yes,
Anything
plus
ooh,
size.
this is a whole other
Yeah,
podcast,
yeah.
but I can give you,
So-
I can
so-
give you something that's gonna make everybody.
You know, but
know.
I love my curves and I embrace them. Don't my mother always taught me, don't nobody want the
Two
bones with the
women,
dogs, and all they gonna do is
two
bury
women
them.
that's sitting here with me are
So-
gorgeous women by my standards. It's just the same. I don't have no problem. What I'm saying is, we talking about the loss of attraction when it gets out of
But they just
hand.
look-
When they just let
and
themselves
to
go,
be
when it
honest,
gets
we all do.
all
We
the
all
way out of hand.
we
When
all
you
know
look,
what
when
he's
you
saying.
look like this, but now you look like this.
Like, and
that's
we
the
all
problem.
know what he's. We all do know what he's saying. We might not like it, and I don't even like the way it
You asked me to
sounds.
come in here and be honest.
And I want you to be
because
honest.
they
And
gain
even though
weight
I don't
and
like it, you got to understand what he's saying. But Tico says, if it's real, Tico Diamond Quad says, if it's real love, TKO, okay, TKO Diamond Quad says, if it's real love, it all will work itself out. From
100%.
both parts, from a man and a lady. Dr. Demetrius says diet and exercise will fix low libido every time.
Yep.
Extra weight kills libido.
100%. Jesus. Who said that?
Okay, but what
Doctor?
what if it's a skinny man who
Doctor,
has
we friends
low
now.
libido?
Hey, doctor, we friends.
Okay, help me out with that, doctor. Because
Same thing
sometimes
with
there's
diet.
skinny men who have low libido. I've known skinny men who
happened?
have low libido.
that's
She's
'cause
saying
of
diet and exercise. She's saying that the extra weight will kill libido every time. I'm like, what's up with the skinny men?
You can eat peanuts, almonds,
Okay.
peanuts, almonds, salmon, what is it? Peanuts, what is that?
What are you talking
What
about?
kind of peanuts?
Oh, walnuts.
You
Walnuts.
talking about libido cures?
Look,
Yeah, they-
Dr.
they-
Demetrius
they-
says, and this is hope for y'all men.
Okay.
Dr. Demetrius says, and yes, a woman's sex drive does go up after 40. How
And
you
that's the
doing?
point I was
How
trying to
you
make. I wrote
doing?
it down right
She
here.
says
This is what
scientific facts. So men just need to wait a
Okay,
few
so-
years.
so here it
Boom,
is.
how you doing? And that's true.
A few years.
I already,
Here's
that's
what
my
I
That's,
wrote
that's
down.
from personal
that's like doing
experience.
time in the
Tell me
pen.
that, 'cause I know.
Maybe in his
That
30s.
got me tingling. Because
Yeah,
the
'cause
point
I'm
I was trying
telling
to make that I didn't want to miss. You said that and they brought it back up. Women get that extra, the extra oomph when they get 40 and so on and so forth.
Gotcha. Yeah.
We, us men, we consistent. We don't get that. We don't get that. So y'all get it, we don't get it, and then that's the time afterwards that you get to take it away from us, and it's a problem for us. So isn't that a balance?
I would think men
Isn't that a
do
balance?
get y'all.
No. I'm a man.
Let me make sure.
I'm
Let me
47.
make sure I'm understanding what you're saying.
But men can go always to 70.
Men can go.
70-year-olds still go.
They can go far beyond that.
Yeah,
Craig.
I know 70.
Dr. Sabi died going with an infant.
Okay, Ursula says, going on 25 years of marriage, and my hubby will tell you, and I quote, it's like new candy every day.
Let me see what you look like.
Our sex life is better now than it was in the beginning. Quantity is not our focus. Quality is what matters. Boom. You
Making sure
better
both
say
parties
it.
are satisfied.
They role playing, they using
You
whipped
better
cream,
say
they
it.
doing all types of
Yeah.
stuff.
You better say it.
That's what you
You
gotta
better
do, though.
say
Cheeks
it.
all
Yeah.
nasty.
That's what you gotta
When
do.
they finish.
I ain't got to that point yet.
They just do whatever they need to do
I ain't got to
to
that
keep
point
each
yet.
other
Yes,
engaged
and that's
in the
so
bedroom.
You gotta keep, dog, you gotta bring the tricks out, dog.
100%, but I ain't got to that point
You
yet.
ain't got to really work hard in the
Well,
bedroom.
when
got
are you
to
gonna get to that point? Because you're almost 50 years old.
I still got the young
How
man's
long
back.
do you think you're gonna be desirable?
Dude,
How
save
long
your
do you
back.
think you're
My
gonna be
back's still
desirable?
strong.
It don't matter how.
He said put an arch in it.
Oh, so you don't? You're thinking you're gonna wait until you're old and decrepit and no longer?
I'm not
to
on-
say I'm ready.
I'm
to
not
do
going to
something.
time
That's
take.
what
I'm
talking
going to go
about.
as needed. I'm not on a timetable where I'm thinking, okay, another 10 years, I got to start using whipped cream. It don't work like that. It just works if that.
Where you find
If
this
whipped cream's sticky anyway. 'Cause somebody tried it with me, I didn't like it. But anyway, what I'm saying is, if you are in a situation where, excuse me, because you're talking about me. If I'm in a situation where I need it, then I'm going to use it. If I'm not in a situation where I don't need it, then I'm not going to concern myself. YouTube University, I'm gonna figure it out.
When if somebody set the mood, if the female set the mood, put the flowers out.
That's for her. That's not for me because I'm supposed to set the flowers out. Men don't care about. You care about flowers?
No, hell.
Right.
Well, no, I'm talking the rose petals.
Right.
The lead of
Yeah,
the
I'll
thing,
do
you know what
that.
I'm saying?
The rose petals for the women, not for us.
Yeah, but I'm just saying. Well, it just depends on the man. Just say you. Some men do. But yeah, like you said, the appearance. You know what I'm saying? So
And some men get off on making their women happy.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
they want to do that.
That's why I said
And
it's for the
making sure
women.
that
That's
they
for us.
satisfied.
I'm one of those.
We both get
I
off.
can't tell.
I'm one of those.
I mean, you should want the rose petals and all that. That makes a woman feel.
Why
A
should I
woman
want the
will,
rose
because
petals?
a
Rose petals die.
Because you should want your woman. You should want your woman to
Why do you
feel
want death
complete
around your bed?
and totally
Right.
engaged.
You
Because
taking
the
something
happier
beautiful
she is,
and
the
putting it
happier
out the
she
ground.
makes
You
you.
killing it to
Yeah.
give to your woman to watch die.
The happier
That's
she
flowers.
is, the happier
Why do
she's
you
gonna
want
make
death
you.
around your bed?
Exactly.
But I'm saying
I want
the
life.
music.
You know, just-
What about the music playing?
The music is A1.
I got
I love that.
Spotify.
Okay, well then I'm just saying.
I'm a hopeful
That's it.
romantic.
Eric
People
Ross,
say
Shine,
hopeless
you know,
romantic. I don't believe that. There ain't nothing hopeless about me. I'm a hopeful romantic. I love romance. And when you turn up
Full romantic. You
absolutely.
hope you get romance.
There's a hope. People, the terminology is
hopeless.
hopeless
Hopeless.
romantic.
Right.
That means there is no hope. That means a lack of hope.
thought
That
you-
means
all right.
there's hope.
So she-
That means unbounded.
Must be
That means
reverse in
there's a
Georgia.
lack of.
Where you
When,
from?
when you have less, that means
Where you
what?
born?
I'm born and raised in Tennessee. Has nothing to do with my intellect.
No. I'm talking- It's reverse. It's a reverse.
Yeah, gotcha. And bachelor's and master's degree. So when you say hope and then you add less after it, it means there is a lack of what precedes it.
Okay,
I'm not a
it's rendition.
hopeless romantic.
It's rendition. It's
I'm a
perception.
hopeful romantic,
Understood.
which means that I'm full of hope.
Understand. I'm
Yeah,
playing.
so yeah.
But
So
at the end
that's
of
what
but
you
at
came
the end
with
of the
me
day,
with.
the way that I say hopeless romantic is what you're saying. That hopeful. I just
I'm a
never heard of
hopeful romantic. I love
regardless,
romance,
I'm
and I'm hopeful that a man.
I have a massage table. I ain't no massage therapist. You know what I'm saying?
You picked the right
Okay,
man.
I'm
That's
one
But
of
that's
those.
you setting the mood.
Exactly.
When
I
you
know.
just said you don't need
I know
that.
how to do it.
You said you don't need that.
I know
but
how to
that's
do
part
it.
of
So you're speaking to a scholar on the subject. No, but what I'm
But I don't
saying.
know if you're a scholar yet because you still 40 some odd years old and you ain't never been married.
Because
I
there's
don't
a lot
know
of
how-
circle.
I don't know
That's
where the-
another podcast.
I don't know
in
where the
itself.
romance is in
I
that.
started life late.
gonna
I started
leave
life.
it
I started life very, very late.
Okay, so can
That's
we?
why Sugar's why men hesitate
Okay,
to marry.
and
So that
yes,
comes right-
and
my
what
way
we
right into
what
that.
we really
My
wanted to
upbringing
talk
was
about.
extremely tainted with irreconcilable differences.
Okay, so what we really wanted to talk about with Gerald was because he is 40 some odd years old, he has never been married, and one of the reasons why he has never been married, and we talked about this, is because he has heard from all his boys how the sex stops after marriage and yada 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 yada.
you listen to
So,
that?
and
No.
a lot of men listen to it.
No. What I told you is
I remember what you told me.
You listen to what your friends have told you. Is that why
That's,
you?
no, my friends have told me that, but that's not the reason why. Like you jumping the gun. That's not why
Okay,
I'm not.
well, I'm a
married.
good
I'm
gun.
just saying I've heard
I'm
that.
good at gun jumping.
Okay, take the bullets out.
Okay.
What I'm saying to you is the parallel that I do have is hearing that. But remember, I'm also a photographer. I've been in 12 years. I'm the guy that takes the wedding day, the cold feet, and relaxes it instantly with one sentence every time I ask the groom, are you nervous? That's how I break the ice. Oh man, listen, y'all are already married. Today is just a day that costs you a lot of money. Everybody dressing nice. You already signed the contract, so you already married. What's your cold feeling about? How long y'all been together? 1 year, 3 years. You've been married. It's just a piece of paper now. Instantly. How many times I can't count? It kills
You know
me.
what? That is real. Now that's a gift. Now I will say that.
That's probably another
That
podcast.
is a cold feet eliminator.
Right.
Because if you can, I mean, when you
why the best man not saying it?
when you think about it, that is true. Maybe you need to bottle that up and sell that
I
because
need to.
that's true.
I want my money.
That would eliminate a lot of cold feet if you just realize that you know what you all. For all intents and purposes, you really already are married.
It's just a
You're
party.
just doing this now to appease everybody else.
Right.
Like, ain't nothing gonna
And it's a
change.
party for the woman.
Yeah.
It's not even a party for the man.
It's a party for everybody
It's just
else.
an accessory.
It ain't even for the woman or for the man. It's for everybody else.
And for all the women that's coming to get dressed
That's
up
why
and get their face
when and if
and
I
hit on
do
me
it-
because I ain't got a ring on my finger and I'm the photographer. But that's another story.
While
too.
when and if I do it, I will probably be
I don't know
incognito.
why, I don't understand
But-
why women spend this money on the wedding. And
But
then,
listen,
you know,
oh, okay, what you say, DJ
Right,
Grady,
to pay
baby?
their car note.
I said I don't understand why women put a lot of money on this wedding when they could just take their money and invest into their marriage.
I understand why though. I understand why. because
20,000
a woman is a woman, and
one
maybe
day.
y'all are gonna jump on me, and Doctor whoever's gonna jump on me. But a
Dr.
woman,
whoever is
but
gonna
a
jump on
woman is conditioned to play with dolls and stuff, and have Barbie and Ken and so on and so forth, to be princesses and have princess. And when they grow up, they want that day for real.
Yeah, fairy
When they
tale.
get married. So the marriage is the culmination of all those years of
All them
playing
dolls
and
and
then so
stuff.
they want the big wedding, even though their car don't can't get paid. Even though they want the big $10,000, $8,000, $80,000 wedding because that day all eyes are on them and they get to be a princess. Now I know this. The only reason why I'm an expert on this is because I am a wedding photographer. And I've done weddings for 12 years now. So I ask when I do videos, what's the best part about him? What this day means to you, et cetera, et cetera. And a whole bunch of people never met each other before in life. I'm giving you what's in common. We got stuff that's different, but I'm giving. So that's my rendition, and I think
Okay.
I'm somewhat of an expert on it.
I think that you are your self-proclaimed expert on that, and just let me
I gotta put self
Why she taking shit?
just let me.
She just gut punched me.
Oh my goodness.
Okay,
That's
so-
proclaimed.
You slick.
Oh my
Because you
goodness.
got a bachelor's. See, I knew she
So
was-
I'm going to read a few more of the comments. Hey, DC, CM, thanks for chiming in. Diane Cole says, I'm 63 and just purchased a Liberator pillow.
A what?
There's some type of vibrating pillow.
A vibrating
I'm
pillow?
giving you guys hope because she's just letting you know that, hey, you know, TikTok, it don't stop at 30. Women, the older a woman gets, the more sexually stimulated and active and involved she becomes. That is true. I've experienced that. Okay, so Diane Cole also says yes, and men can go way beyond 75 and get yourself in shape. How you doing?
100%. I see him in the gym.
Yeah. So Demetrius says, Dr. Demetrius says, if you love your spouse, you will schedule sex.
Huh?
How do you schedule
What?
that?
Okay, hold on.
Who said that?
Hold
Oh.
on, because
You get treated like a.
Go
Go ahead.
I gotta write it down.
Go ahead, so I can't wait.
Hold on, because I want to read this.
My penis on the
Hold
schedule.
on. Can you let me
I gotta get hard on
finish?
Tuesday at 8
She
o'clock.
says,
Come on now.
if you love your spouse, you will schedule sex so you can have it whether you're in the mood or not.
So how you get
Being
up for that?
spontaneous can sometimes be disappointing because of life's duties. Scheduling it helps to prepare you so you can get your mind right. And you have some, okay, you have something.
This is not-
Yeah, so you lost me there, Doc. I've been with you. I've been riding and dying with you the whole time. Yeah,
Control ding ding.
you lost me
You
on
can't even
that
do your
one.
Star Trek anthem.
So if I'm not in the
Yeah.
business Monday at 12, I still gotta do it.
Yeah, I'm not getting ready
even
to
make
jump
sense.
to hit
That's a
the
63-year-old?
perform and you know, yeah, that's a whole lot of pressure to perform on a schedule, punching
implant.
somebody's
She got
clock
implant.
when I might not feel in the mood. We could schedule it.
What you looking for?
You know, we could schedule it on a Tuesday at 6 o'clock, and then something could happen to, you know, completely disrupt. Okay, I'm losing my guess. I need the distractions to stop. We need to be fully engaged.
Okay.
Way too much going on. But she says scheduling it is the best way to do it. I'm here, you know,
I'm sucking my teeth.
so you're saying that if we have it scheduled every Tuesday at 6 o'clock and something happens at my job and I have an employee who comes after me or I get fired or I can't be expected or my child is being
She got somebody?
disobedient or disrespectful.
She got somebody?
She's happily
You got to
married.
stick to the script.
I can't punch a clock and expect.
Me neither,
be
because your
expected
feelings,
to
you may not be
perform.
feeling it.
I am going to perform, and I am going to, my body is going to respond according to how I'm feeling.
It's sort of
for the
made
moment.
about cut the man penis off and I gotta go have sex because it's Tuesday at 6. No, it don't work like that.
That's when it
I
starts.
don't
But it
agree
works
with
for them.
that. I
It
don't-
works for them.
Yeah, that won't work.
It works for them. God bless
It,
them.
it,
mean,
it works for you, I
it's
guess,
good
but
for
that wouldn't work for me. So
For two,
Cheryl says, she says, why does Cheryl say I'm going to jump on him? I value real estate, not material.
Who said that?
I didn't have a wedding, got married at midnight. She said, why did Cheryl say I'm going to jump on him? Oh, that's when you said y'all can jump on me if you want to, doctor and all y'all can jump on me.
yeah, I said it earlier.
Or jump on me, man. Gang up on me.
Yeah, gang up on me.
Yeah, so I don't understand what she wrote. But
So she says her explanation, she says, I used to not want sex because I was busy. We didn't always keep the schedule, but it helped. You don't have to be robotic, but it helps keep you from going weeks at a time without sex.
that's romantic. Lady?
To me, it is not.
Lady,
I
that's not
can't-
romantic.
I can't do the schedule.
Sex with a countdown? Come on, man.
What do you guys think about that
I
on
don't
that
agree.
side?
Not to me. I don't agree with that. Scheduling. You don't know how your feelings gonna be that particular day.
Yeah.
I mean,
Sex with a countdown.
yeah. And then a lot of people feel this because we females, we can just lay down. It takes more to it than just laying down.
How does your
You know,
body respond to
exactly.
that?
They must be using KY jelly and all type of stuff. Because she ain't wet, she gotta make it.
Well, they got to put lipstick. Maybe they put lipstick on it.
Lipstick, bullet.
They must have some routine. Give them the nuts or
But
whatever.
you know what? Look, she's been married for a long time. If it works for you, baby, go for it. Do what works. And that's why, it's important to realize that
Wish y'all get some enemies now too.
what works for one person doesn't work for everybody. It just doesn't. So, you have to find what works for
But
you.
let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
Let
Go
me ask
ahead,
this
Greg.
question. With being married, what's the span? Once a week, twice a week?
I have that question all the time.
If I'm married
Been had
every
that
day.
question.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's not
Yeah.
whenever you want it.
Whenever,
Yeah.
several times a day sometimes. I mean,
That's not
Ideally,
realistic.
ideally,
That's
yes.
not
What is
married.
it
You know
really?
what?
Hallelujah.
But
Thank you,
it's not
Jesus.
realistic the older that you get, but I'm just saying if you feel it and you want it and both parties agree, it to me,
That's why you got married.
it ain't once a month or it's true enough. The older you get, it's not like it was when me and my husband dated when I was like in college. It was like pretty much.
You was with your husband now since you was in college?
We're not married. We were dating then.
Okay.
So it's not comparable to how it was then.
Right.
We had more free time.
Right.
And to me, the thought process too, you have more process as far as thinking. See, now you like, okay, we doing this, we working. The whole mindset has changed.
yeah, I don't want a schedule because I might be in the mood at any given time, and I don't want nobody telling me I got to punch the clock or I got to clock in.
I don't even want to be mean.
To have look, I want it when I want it, and that's just that when I'm married. Praise the Lord. And the same for the man. I don't want you telling. I don't want to even think that I would limit you to just having it when we schedule.
Spontaneity.
There is something to be
Yes.
now, Doc.
You don't
I'ma
know
tell
when
you,
it's going to happen.
There's
It's
something to
just
be
gonna happen.
there's something to be said about
We stick to your
spontaneity.
schedule, Doc.
Turn into a
That's why
time.
they made
We got to
scriptures.
have her on our next show.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
there's something to be said about spontaneity. I mean, there's a lot to be said about
Go
spontaneity.
home and wear out
Yeah.
with that energy.
Yep.
Strip clubs come in handy for that, but I don't go to them no more. But strip clubs come in handy for that.
Okay, so Keisha Boyd, thank you, Keisha, for coming. Thank you for coming on through, cuz. So Keisha Boyd says, I like being spontaneous because it brings a lot of fun and
Who said
pleasure
that?
to the night. This is what Keisha Boyd said, and she's been with this man for what 20 some odd
Let them
years.
do all right.
My
That's why they
husband, she
together.
said, my husband and I
Time
love
schedule.
it. And they got how many kids? 4 or 5,
They
4 or
smash
5, 20. They got 22 kids, and
Because
they
they
still keep
smash it.
22.
still keep it
Because they don't know
real.
when they're going to have sex next. They just have it.
Yeah, you gotta get one over
Shoot the club up.
Can I read her
here. In the bathroom,
comment?
baby, let's go.
She says, my
Put it in,
husband
girl,
and
and
I
shoot the
love
club
to
up.
be young and feel like we are sneaking around like the old times. When you tried to schedule sex, it wasn't fun and felt rushed.
How old is she? She
I
her
agree
age?
because I know how old she is. This is my.
What's
She's
the
married
child?
to my
Yeah.
cousin. They're in their 40s.
Okay, so it's
40s. They've been together forever, and that's why I tell you, some relationships like my girl over here, Tammy, you can be together forever and still enjoy sex.
you know them, how long they've been together, not how long they've been married, how long they've been together.
They've been together. He should chime in and tell me how long you guys have been, because he's asking me a
But
question
here's what I wanna say
am
about-
not capable of answering. So he wants to know not only how long have you guys been married, yeah, but how long have you guys been together?
You know that.
I know that it was your teenage years, so
It was
tell
since
me how
their
long you
teenage?
guys have been. They've been together.
Oh, so they
she's
part of
she
each
has
other's
been
DNA
around
at
to
this
die.
point. So
Yeah.
I don't even need to know. That's what I wanted. But the lady, no disrespect to the lady about the scheduling. Nobody here, and I'm pretty sure we need to push past that because I don't think that's healthy.
Dr. D,
Listen,
you gonna
tell
miss
me,
this
I
one.
don't want no schedule.
Jill
in my
said
life.
that ain't healthy.
My penis works,
Dr.
and I
D.
don't need no schedule.
Demetrius says, so when you're single,
Right.
she says, Dr. D says, so when you're single, you schedule a date. You know, and when I blow up, when God elevates me to get to where I'm really going, you know how they have a Dr. Sherry and Dr. Phil. You, Dr. D, get ready because I'm taking you with me.
Jerry
baby.
didn't catch what she
You gonna
said.
be my
She
doctor.
did what she said.
Read
But
again.
she says, so when you're single, you schedule a date. You know you're going to go get some. What's the difference?
No, I don't know if I'm gonna get some if I'm going on a date if I don't have an actual girlfriend. But if I have a girlfriend, it's not a date. It's we going on a date, and if it happens, it happens.
But
If
you
it
have
don't,
but you have the expectation is what she's
But that's
saying.
everybody that's ever dated in life. Everybody's
No,
had
but
that
a
at
date
one
you not
point.
get it, but you schedule it though.
But in your mind, you've already scheduled to do it.
Well, because we don't live together.
But
We don't live
she-
together.
Okay, so she's saying, so what's the difference?
Because we don't live together.
Think about it. When
Because
you
I don't have
married,
in-house vagina.
I'm sorry, he's not married.
He said because he does not
I
have
throw shade
in-house
at you,
vagina.
girl. Sometimes when you're married, you
Oh
have
my
to schedule dates with your wife.
Say again?
When you're married, you have to schedule dates with your
I ain't
wife.
never been married, so I'm
No,
a virgin. I'm a marital
That's
virgin.
what doctor probably mean by schedule. You know, you have
She's
to schedule
married,
dates.
all of y'all
Date
married.
night.
I'm
Maybe
the
that night.
outcast.
Date night.
Maybe
Yeah.
date night, but not sex
You're
night.
not an outcast, boo boo.
Not an outcast, but I'm the uncommon denominator.
Love you.
I'm the uncommon denominator.
So his would be how it's sex after dating instead of after marriage.
But she trying to throw a dagger in when it don't even count. It don't even count because she was dating once, and it was a that's just as much. All of you, you've been with your man since college. You dated him first. You
Okay.
dated.
So here's what she says. She says, okay, so just hear her out. She says we're spontaneous all the time. But if he's working 6 days a week, leaves before I get up and comes home after I'm asleep, we have to make time. What's the difference? Maybe schedule is the wrong word. Okay?
Yes.
And so Keisha comes back and says, I'm 44 and Greg and I have been together for 26 years.
Okay.
Ooh, go ahead on. Come on through, Keisha and Greg. I love it. I love it, boo boo. But you know, it does not hurt that she has one of the finest men that God ever saw fit to create in this world, and that is my first cousin, Gregory LeVar Love. He is fine. He is fine. But you know what? The flip side to that is she's just as pretty as he is fine. So you know, people used to say that about me and my ex-husband. You just as pretty as
And
he
they have
is
kids?
fine. They have 4 kids together.
And she snapped back.
And look, they still going strong.
And he
And
still
I
won. He
love it.
still want to hit.
They hung in there, but when the rubber met the road and the thing got hard, I bailed out. They stuck in there. So I ain't got nothing but love and respect for them. So you ain't got to hang in there. You always have options. Now, if I could change things,
what you said?
if I could do things, you always have options.
Now
There's
you
always-
gangster. Now you gangster.
Oh yeah, you got options.
What's the option?
Well, the option obviously is divorce because I'm single. So if there were no options, then obviously, yeah.
That's all I got.
So, okay, so, oh my gosh, people are chiming in left and right. I don't have time to read all these comments. We have got to close this podcast out. We've taken up a lot of Karaba's time. Hattie Warner, thank you, Hattie Warner, for chiming in. She says we both use methods. Sometimes we are both busy, or one of us is just not feeling it. I get it. So neither of us have a problem with asking for what we want, and that's important. She says we've been together for 22 years and our sex life is not like it. Come on through, Hattie Warner. That's what it takes. I mean,
There's some champions.
yeah. I mean, here you're getting real evidence from people who have great longevity in their relationships that marriage and the sanctity of marriage really does work. So for you men out there who are hesitant to make that move because you have heard all the trauma and all the drama about how sex stops after marriage, later for that, tell your friends who bring that junk to you to have 2 or 3 seats. Matter of fact, tell them to have 4 or 5 seats, because there are some real good, healthy, sexually thriving relationships out there. So
and
man,
for
you
the
just
record, I
need to
ain't
step
scared.
up to the plate and do what you need to do.
I'm not scared.
I can't tell you ain't
I'm
scared.
not scared. I just ain't been married to the. I ain't find the right one
You
for
ain't
me
find the
yet.
right one yet.
I'm not scared because when I find the right one, it's in the right situation and scenarios around it. I'm going to do it.
that right?
I was ready in 1998.
You can't blame
And I found
the
a condom in the garbage.
You can't blame the brother for being patient.
She cheated on me. I found a condom in the garbage. I was ready in 1998. It scarred me. I'm better now or whatever. My parents didn't make it, so I have a very, very bad example. I know of disasters, but the truth is, as a grown man now, I concentrated more on the disasters than I concentrated on what could happen. Plus, I didn't see the good. I had to go to other people's houses
Yeah.
to see it by accident. So
Yeah.
in my mind, for the longest time, I thought marriage was a death sentence. All the experts you gonna have, and you gotta fight every day. You gotta fight every day.
Probably needs therapy.
Pam Rose said he's scared.
That's
I
why.
was scared. I was scared. I'm agreeing with her.
Pam Rose said
But in
he's scared.
1998,
Look, girl, he's scared.
but in 1998, it changed.
She said he lied.
He lying.
Why?
He lying.
She said he lied.
That's Pam. That's the one who did the what's the podcast?
I didn't know that.
Oh, the side piece?
Yeah, the side piece.
No, she just mad. She mad at
She
me.
was former.
I can't say no good about her. I'm not scared of her. And congratulations.
That's my girl right there. You will not ever let me hear you say nothing bad about her.
That's why you so mean.
I will fight for her honor.
That Mr. Jenkins.
But listen. Listen. So
You sound scared. I'm on a
you
podcast.
do
I'm
sound.
scared.
Obviously, you sound scared.
I was. I'm agreeing. I was. Today I'm
Well,
not
you
afraid.
called her crazy, and she said, and she had to come to you and
She
say,
got-
I was crazy. I ain't crazy.
Yeah, exactly. She was crazy, right?
So you reap what you
She go
sow.
to church now.
Look, you reap what you sow. This is evidence of
I'm
that
holding
right
up to
now.
it. She was mad. I ain't mad.
Okay, so Kay Ross. Hey, Kay. What's going on, girl? Kay says you
That's
should
what she
never
got
stop
you.
dating, girlfriend or wife. You should never ever stop dating. I agree with you, Kay. So I think, okay, so that's what, Michelle Perry, what's going on, Soror? I haven't seen you since college. We really need to catch up, girl, I'm telling you. She says you can't let your past failures influence your future happiness.
100%.
You cannot let your past failures influence you. I'm so glad you all come up with all this stuff so that way I don't have to, and I can just act like I'm smarter than I am and actually piggyback off what you say. But you're absolutely right. Oh my gosh. When you do that, you let the women that hurt you win all these years later.
And they did. They won. They won. I'm a super nigga now, so it's okay. I'm better. I'm
The
cured.
part about that is whoever coming behind that gonna get that rap.
And it's
Oh,
not
yeah,
fair.
It's
not
Yeah,
fair.
you 100%.
But not only are you
I
not
cured
only are
myself.
you limiting them, but you're limiting
Right,
yourself.
I'm cured now.
Yeah.
I'm good now. I'm cured.
If you cured when you getting married.
When the person comes
That's what we
along
want
that
to know.
provides the first is marriage. Let me ask you a question.
Yes, it is.
Is marriage a
Prerequisite?
No, not a prerequisite. Because I do plan on being married before I die. But I'm just saying, is there a timetable as to when you're supposed to be?
Hold. Let me answer that. He's saying, is there a timetable on when you should be
Or when
married?
you feel right?
Okay, let me just say this.
Because now you're scheduling marriage.
I say yes. There is a
So
time.
you're scheduling marriage, no matter what.
But
Like
can-
the woman scheduling
are you
sex with
are
her
you
husband.
are you going to allow me to answer it, or Was it just a rhetorical question?
Both, but
If
you
it
can
was
answer.
if it was a rhetorical question, we can move on. But if it was a real question that requires a response, I would love
Talk to him like you talking to me.
I would love an opportunity to respond. Okay. So does marriage have an expiration date on when you should
No, set off date, not an expiration.
set off, expiration, whatever, same difference. And my response is absolutely. You should get married in a time frame that would allow you to still be able to thrive, enjoy life, allow each other to see the best that you all have to offer, and be able to experience all the things that you all want to experience, not single-handedly, but with the partner. That is, you should be married. You should be married in time enough to make sure that all that happens. What good does it do for you to wait till you 82 years old and your expiration date, because we don't never know when you're checking out, but your expiration date is 83, and then you decide, oh, I'm ready to settle down now, I want to be married. You ain't got nothing to offer
You're not
nobody.
getting married based on death expectations either.
Okay,
Do you got anybody in
but
the chain?
just like life, death, it comes, it happens, it is going to happen.
The same thing.
Yeah.
The same thing with women
But
nowadays.
the Bible
They're doing the same
promises
amount
us,
that you divorce now. You
the
single
Bible,
now.
the Word of God promises
I ain't gonna put
us
Jesus in
4
that,
score and 10.
Is she single now?
No, whoa, 3 score and 10.
Right.
3 score and 10. So if you just go on what the Bible promises us, which is 3 score and 10, that's, I don't know if there's any Bible scholars here, but that's 70 years old. So if you just base it on my lifespan is 70 years old, why are you gonna wait till you're 68 to get married?
Who told you I'm waiting until I'm 16?
I'm not saying you
Why
are,
asking
and
me
I'm
the
not
question?
saying you
You got
are.
somebody right now
But you're
that you in the
asking
field.
me, is there a life, is there an expectancy on that? And I'm telling you, yes, there is.
Okay, so what about the expectancy of somebody who's already married and
I'm just saying.
it broke down and now they're not married and they're looking to get married again? What about that expectancy? Is there a difference?
There is a difference.
How so?
Because you've already embarked upon it.
So you don't need to get married no more?
You don't have to if you don't want to.
but
you
I
don't
need to
ever
'cause-
have to get married,
That's the
period,
point I was
if you
trying
don't
to
want to.
So you
That's
just
up
so
to
you just
you.
negated what you just said.
No, I didn't. I said if you were going to do it, and let me quantify that because I can see that I need to break it down into layman's terms for some people. So what I mean by that is, if I'm not calling you a layman, I'm saying that I need to re-quantify the statement that I made. If you were involved with somebody, rather than keeping her holding on, and it is her choice to stay, but rather than keeping her holding on year after year after year after year, why not go ahead and make that thing right? Go ahead and get married and receive all the abundant blessings that come after that because you honor God, rather than hold off waiting for things to fall through the floor, for the floor to fall apart, because that's what men do. They think, okay, this is too good, something got to happen. Things can't stay this way forever, so I'm just expecting things to fall out. So I'm gonna go ahead and say we're here year after year after year, so that I can see the worst part of her that comes out 10 years from now, or B, so that I can make sure that there are no other options on the table that I want. Why not just go ahead and do the right thing and then make a decision to make that work?
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
We're on the exact same page, Tisa, but you have to have that person to do that with.
I agree.
You don't have anybody there
For
yet.
the length of time that it takes to feel comfortable to do that with, till death do you part.
Thank you.
Not just some chick
Yeah.
that you just smash
I
in
agree.
or whatever. It takes time. Now,
I agree.
I've been in relationships where I thought I was going to be married 3 different times. It didn't happen because certain things
Hey,
happened.
Shonda.
Because
Hey,
certain things
Shonda.
happened that didn't make sense for
Yeah.
longevity. There's graduations to everything. There's people you date, there's people you call your girlfriends or your boyfriends, there's people you live with, there's people you ask to be your fiance, there's people you ask to marry, and then after marriage, there's people that you want to have kids with, make money with, etc. There's always a graduation. I just didn't graduate to marriage. I had
K. Ross says when you want to get married while everything is still working. I mean, and that's the
K.
way-
Ross, come to the gym with me at 4:45 in the morning. I'll be at the gym, LA Fitness, Cumberland. I'll be there and show you all my shit working. I don't even know you. I got no problem challenging. Come to the gym,
Look, she walking
4:45,
out. I'm K. Ross.
4:45 in the morning, Cumberland
we
Mall,
get rid of
LA
it because I
Fitness.
do need you.
The
train me. Okay, so Shayla Davidson Brown
Gonna
says,
scare somebody.
Shayla
at
says,
47.
me and my, hey Shayla, hey Soror. She says, me and my hubby know what we like and not afraid to go with it. We know when it has been a while and know how to make up for it. LOL. This has always worked for us. We have 21 years together and we'll be celebrating 17 years of marriage in April. Go ahead on something. Hey, he didn't even show black love. Still attracted to this man like we just met. Happy early Founders Day. I love that. I love to hear about stuff like this. And I will tell you, there are many times when I have looked back and said, man, what would have happened if I would have just hung in there? Like, what would have, but I was feeling like, shit, I'm out of love now. I ain't got time to, I don't care. And he would always say, Tisa, if you divorce me, there are always going to be hurdles. You feel like the grass is going to be green on the other side of the fence, but you're always going to have to work at it. And I was like, well, I would just rather take my kids and start working. But what would have happened if I would have stuck in there? Like, I'll never know now.
It wasn't God's plan. It wasn't God's plan because it would have happened if it was supposed to happen. But for me, it wasn't also the women too. It was also my own finances. The times that I've had dips or whatever, and I believe that you're supposed to be a certain man to. I believe you're supposed to be a provider as well. So if I know that I'm not able to provide right now, I will put everything on the back burner, get myself together, and then start to date. These people, there's a lot of job openings tonight. So it hasn't just been love. All y'all that thinks it's just about me being lacking something. Like I'm not afraid of nothing because I put myself out there on a podcast, so I will address everything. But that's the one thing.
And that's one thing that we will do. We will go back and address all.
I'm not looking for no screen.
We're gonna respond to all these comments and what I will say is this: is he taking applications? I don't know if he is or not, but what I do know is that when you least expect it, that's when it sort of happens for you. Michelle Perry says, my soror says, hey Michelle, she says marriage should never be on your bucket list.
Marriage what?
Marriage should never be on your bucket list.
What should it be?
But some people do make it their bucket list part.
Some people make that's the whole bucket list.
For some people, that is their goal in life.
Precious, that's the whole bucket.
I want to say this for a few minutes ago. A lot of women nowadays go and live their best life. Single. I don't want to be tied down with no man. I don't want to be tied down with no man. They're 20s, 30s, 40s. Now they turn 50. Oh, girl, I'm tired. I'm going to find me a husband. Oh, your best days is gone. This ain't no retirement home.
Right.
Some people get married so they don't have to be alone.
You talking about somebody who's been divorced or somebody who never had?
No, somebody who's never been married.
So you're not in that.
Never been married.
Somebody who's never been married. Most girls go out and party, do this and that, run with the stars. They run, they
Pam,
star
you
chasing.
silly. Pam, somebody's going to be about 40 women at the gym.
And then when things didn't turn out the way they want to, let me find Joe Blow, find somebody who got something going, I'm going to settle down with him.
When they don't look good no more.
You know what I mean? Yeah. When their mileage don't got ran up on them, when their Carfax don't got,
Exactly. Exactly. Victim of circumstance. Opportunity.
Oh my gosh. You know what?
Yeah.
What I'm going to say
We can talk till it's daytime tomorrow.
we could probably talk until the sun comes up.
We could.
I don't know that it's necessarily fair to everybody else in here. Because what I'm finding is this. People came here tonight to be on date night, and they can't focus on each other because they are too busy listening to our podcast.
They got something to talk about. We help them.
That's what they're doing out there.
They're too busy listening to the podcast. So that's why so many people are having accidents, dropping glasses, dropping all that. Because this is a juicy topic right here. I'm telling you. It's a really juicy topic. I don't know that we have been able to actually resolve any deep-rooted issues tonight, but what I do know is that we've been able to talk about it, and on the Tisa Batey show, that's all I want to do. That's what this podcast is about, guys. Like there are several people who let's just say there are tons of people who inbox me on a daily basis and say, I want to be on your podcast, I want to be on your podcast. And I love you guys, and I will have you on at some point, as soon as we can find whatever niche you feel. But But I don't want anybody to feel like we're interviewing on here because we don't. We're just talking. Just like if there were no cameras and we were sitting around and just having a conversation. That's what the Tisa Batey Show is about. No pressure, just dialogue. So we just want to engage in intellectual and informed dialogue just to see if we can start the healing process or if we can help somebody somewhere along the way. That's all we want to do. This podcast has been awesome. We will probably have to do, we will probably have to do a part 2 to this podcast because I don't know that we were able to even get to a part 10.
It's like an iPhone conversation.
I'm loving this energy.
I think
loving
as
this
men need to have
energy
a
that I'm
session
feeling.
where we just talk. Because right now, we
Now,
really
DJ
can't
Grady
get our
Baby
point
said he
across.
just wants the men to have a.
Yeah,
Really?
we need to have a man session. On the show where you guys really can hear from us how we feel. A lot of times women force their opinions upon men.
Oh, okay. So what you're saying is I don't allow you.
No, we don't. No. Then you tell me to hush, but you tell him, you're nicer than him than you are to me.
But DJ Grady Baby, but DJ Grady Baby, if I could measure love, I love you more. Like, because I've been with you more, I've been with you longer, and I know you can take it. No, but I always want to give people the platform to say what they feel. So let me start by saying, DJ Grady Baby, I apologize if I have ever hurt your feelings because I love you, boo boo.
She apologized.
You are the best in the world.
On national TV, you apologize?
You are the national TV. If I can offend them in front of everybody, then I need to be big enough to apologize in front of everybody. And I
You
love
accept
you,
your
DJ
apology.
Grady
Hey,
Baby.
doctor.
And my thought process was, I know how condescending I can be sometimes when it comes to making my point. So I thought that I was being condescending to this one and straightforward to this one. But if it wasn't taken that way, then hey, I ain't trying to hurt nobody. I'm just trying to talk. Let's just talk
I'm with
about
everybody that you see me.
He has thicker skin, but DJ Grady
He
Baby,
did take his hat off,
DJ
wiped his
Grady
head
Baby
off,
loves me, so he's
This is
been
hot.
a little.
Now you said you had a hot flash, not his hot. Now what you call that?
Temperature.
What you gonna call it? Now she fanning, she had a hot flash, but now he took his hat off.
Okay. So wrapping this up, if anybody, I'm gonna allow all my panel guests. What words of wisdom? The subject is, why does sex dissipate or stop after marriage? And is this the reason why so many men hesitate to get married? So I'm going to just start with you, Soror. And what words of wisdom can you impart upon our listeners tonight?
Actually, my opinion on that was sex doesn't stop after marriage. You just have to keep it spicy, all kind of ways, keep it going, no matter what it takes. Keep your marriage going, no matter what it takes to keep it. Dress up,
Okay.
date night.
Okay.
Take it off.
You do what it takes to make you happy. That's what it's all about. Happiness at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. DJ Grady Baby.
Well, I'm going to say, it does slow down a whole lot. I don't know about her household.
You must not be
My
doing it.
chances
You gotta work on
winning
it.
some dice game in Vegas.
What did he say?
You sound like you got some really deep roots. You got some real
Just how to just communicate. That's all I can just say, communicate. Do like Lattimore. When your woman come home from work, put Lattimore on. When you sit yourself down and talk to me. You know what I mean?
Tell me what's on your mind.
Because we can't read your mind. Y'all women want us to be mind readers, your doctors, your lawyers, your police officer, bodyguard, all that little crazy stuff.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it does slow down. But communicate. Let us know why you're stopping. Let us know. Give us time frame. We need to know when. All right. If you don't give us a destination, we'll find a new location. I'm just saying. All right, I'm done.
Oh my gosh. All right. Okay, so from the perspective of a man who's never been married, Mr. Gerald Forte, Mr. Chocolate,
Got a new name, man.
Chocolate.
CHOCLAT.
What can you tell us?
Buckle up. Because this is what I say about it. I'm looking at a perspective of relationship, not just marriage. So, what did you look like when y'all first got together? What did she look like when they first got together? What were you like when you first got together? What is she like now? So, after marriage, is it similar or is it totally different? Is it a drastic difference? And then work from that angle, and then whatever you got that you now, if you're physically unable, understood. But if you're able and you have opportunity and time and you're not taking advantage, ... That's me. I'm done.
Done, son.
I'm done, son. Okay, and then I will close this out as I do. Here's what I will say. Just like we're doing now, we're engaging, and this is an exchange. We're engaging in dialogue, and there is no way to expect a relationship, whether you're courting each other, whether you're married, whether you are divorcing. There is really no way to expect any of those dynamics to be successful without exchange and without dialogue. So my advice, having been there and having lost interest in sex and having been that mother who felt like I was, pulled in a million different directions and overwhelmed, sit back, ladies or men, assess the situation, woo-saw, and talk about it. Tell your mate what you need to stay engaged. Have the conversations, and some of the conversations are difficult to have. Some of them may be uncomfortable, but they're necessary. You can keep your mouth closed and end up in divorce court or being cheated on or being hurt, or you can make a decision to just have dialogue and engage in dialogue. Talk to each other about it. Find some type of resolution. Tell your mate what you need and allow him or her to meet that expectation. Whether it happens or not, it's going to be completely up to you guys. But I'm rooting for you. I love you guys for chiming in. You were powerful today. Your comments were the most. Y'all allowed me to be great today. So I love you guys. You're relevant. I will answer, not me personally, but me and the panel guests will answer each and every one of your comments if we didn't get to them today on the podcast. Thank you so much for believing in us or believing in me enough to chime in every week to hear what we have to say. And thank you for imparting your words of wisdom into our lives, because we don't have all the answers. We're just talking about it. So between you and us, then we can come up with some answers that can really help each other. But you got to talk about it first. So thank you for tuning into the Tisa Batey Show, live here on Facebook on djgradybaby.com. Thank you to Tammy Smith, my soror, Ski. Thank you to Gerald Forte, the everything media specialist in Atlanta. And thank you always to my faithful sidekick, DJ Grady Baby. Thank you so much for joining us today. We love you, we love you, we love you. And join us next week for another power-packed podcast here on the Tisa Batey Show. Share this with everybody, guys. Thanks. Love you.
Me.